Today I want to talk about the trap of independence. And the reason I want to talk about the trap of independency because I've personally seen myself fall into it and I've seen other people fall into it. And I think that as a society that continually encourages and values independence alongside individualism more and more, we begin to forget what those words really mean. The first question I would ask anyone who prides themselves on independence is, how are you independent in a codependent universe? Now, you might be tempted to go and say, well, it's because I came into this world and I did everything myself and I got myself here and got myself there and blah 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 etc. Did you get yourself there by yourself? Are you sure? What about the sun that shined upon you? Is that not essential for your being? If there was no sun, then none of us would exist. And if we had no hearts, none of us would exist either. And if there was no ground, we'd have nothing to walk on. Everything in nature relies on each other. Flowers rely on bees. Trees grow strongest when they're together. That's why you see most of them in forests. Codependency is the very nature of life. Nothing you do is ever done by yourself completely. Everything you do is using some factor of the universe. Whether it be electricity, or running water, or food on your table, or a roof over your head. It's all coming from some use of an advantage nature gave us. Everything in nature needs itself in order to exist. The world exists only because it is exactly as it is. That's all we can say. And so, knowing this, the trap of independency is to believe that you didn't come out of this world, you came into it, sort of like popped into it. But that's simply not true. You were grown in a womb until you were born. Same way a flower grows out of the ground, or a tree grows out of the ground. Same way a river runs from a small stream. All these things depend on each other. And when you start taking things and making things just about yourself, and you start saying, oh, me, all I do, this is all me, everything I do, it's all done by me. I don't need anybody else. And you feel this sort of shame about needing somebody else or relying on something else. Why do I need that? Why did I need to ask that person for help? Why did I need to rely on this thing or this person or whatever? Why couldn't I just do it myself? These are the sort of things we say to ourselves when we pride ourselves in independence. We seek to do everything ourselves. But that everything we seek to do by ourselves is never even done by ourselves. Because there's so many infinite factors that contribute to you to even be able to do that in the first place. So you're never doing anything yourself. And when you push people away, people who want to help you, or you simply don't seize an opportunity to seek out help, you push away strength. Because there's so much strength to be found in other people. You would be amazed on how much love and support just one person can give you, which would completely change your life. Just having one person in your corner, knowing you can depend on them, rely on them, you know? Independency does not mean to do everything yourself. It means to be able to take care of yourself. And part of being able to take care of yourself is to be able to be vulnerable enough to ask help when you need help to do that. When you don't go out and ask someone for help, you completely rid yourself of that strength you could have had. You rid yourself not only of the strength, but of a beautiful, deep connection you could have had with a person. You rid yourself of love and support and friendship and companionship and all these beautiful things because you believe that strength is found in making the world go round by yourself. But the only reason you're here is because the sun shines every day, because the moon replaces it at night, because the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean and all the other oceans and seas move winds to get to you. And the trees suck in the carbon dioxide and clean the air. Everything, absolutely everything that you are experiencing is a factor of something else supporting it. The universe you're living in is completely codependent, and so are you. And there's absolutely no way of going around that. You are never independent in the fact that you believe yourself to be so. At least you're not independent in what you believe independency to be. I used to be that sort of person where I thought that being independent was the greatest strength, being able to isolate myself and sort of do everything myself was the greatest strength. But you limit yourself when you do that, and you actually weaken yourself. Because you can be fiercely isolated and, let's say, quote unquote, independent, and yet extremely foolish and weak in your ways. Because many times in our life, we are blind to the wrong steps we can take. And there's no one to go and say, hey, you're doing that wrong. Or hey, I don't think you should be doing this. Just having a shoulder to cry on is so important. Having these people in your life who you can rely on, who are there for you, who want to help you. Because it's not like you're just using them to gain their strength. You're building a relationship with them, a beautiful friendship, a connection, where you can share memories and experiences and love and art and music and all this stuff, and it makes life so much fuller. And you don't have to feel bad about asking for help, because asking for help makes you stronger. When you ask someone for help, you'd be far better off than someone who didn't ask for help. Because that person who you asked for help, or that thing you chose to rely on, could help you in infinite ways you didn't even realize before. People will teach you so much if you're just willing to reach out and listen. Everyone has something to say. Everyone has something you can learn from. And it's not only that, but almost everyone has some sort of love to give to you, even if it's in the smallest of ways. And you can give back that love. Because when you learn to be codependent, then you can also have others depend on you. When you learn to depend on other people without this, let's say, foolish thought that it makes you somehow weaker, you can then learn how to allow those people to depend on you. And that gives you strength like no other. That's one thing I realized is the importance of relationships. When I finally stopped isolating myself and being prideful in my ignorant independence, I realized how much people really contribute to your life. That's why it's also important to be wise about who you let into your life, because when you need someone to rely on, when you need a shoulder to cry on, you have to make sure to the best of your abilities that it's someone you can trust, and that it's someone that's not just using you for your strength. Because many people will use codependency to use you. They will come to you with their struggles. They will cry on your shoulder, so to say. They will ask you for comfort, help, and love. And then they will thank you and leave. And then when you need that comfort, help, and love, and you go to them, they won't be available. So you have to be careful about those type of people, because those people are just taking advantage of codependency. And they're using it only to strengthen themselves, which is a very narcissistic thing to do. But the reason I'm making this video today, truly, is because codependency, or rather, forgive me, I meant to say independency, can really ruin your life if taken too far. You can push people away who loved you more than you imagined, just because you're too prideful, or let's say too ignorant in your belief that being codependent is weak to accept their help. And you push these people away, and you miss out on beautiful opportunities to create profound relationships of love and support. Just remember that every bird is first a chick that cannot fly and needs to be fed worms by its mother. Nature relies on itself. Everything in nature needs everything. You're part of nature. You need everything too. When you reach out, you don't become weaker. You become stronger. Because in allowing yourself to be vulnerable, you allow yourself to be open and to be unlimited and infinite. And you open yourself up to absolutely everything. And that's where true strength is found. So to conclude this video, Please don't get lost in independence. Please don't think that being codependent is weakness, because it's not. That's where true strength lies, in the courage to be vulnerable. So take nature's helping hand, and you'll be able to offer a helping hand yourself someday.